All right, we are live, and this is the midweek report, July 22nd, 2020. James Bell here, the boxing source, and wanted to go through a few things that have, been going through the boxing news cycles over the past few days. We had a video up earlier in reference to the main event that happened yesterday with Oscar Valdez and Jason Velez. Um, with Oscar Valdez there getting the win by 10 round TKO. So he stays unbeaten there, and he's on his way to facing Miguel Burchell for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship there. So if you can, you could check out that video there where I review that particular fight that Oscar Valdez had against Jason Velez. And, an early look ahead to his fight against Miguel Burchell for that Super Featherweight Championship. So here in this particular midweek report, wanted to go through a few things with the news that came down through PBC and Showtime as they released their schedule there for the fall, pretty much for the fall going into the winter months here in 2020. So wanted to get that through here. So I mean, it's a series of 9 bouts that they announced through Showtime Boxing. And 3 of those fights, 3 of the 9 fights there are on pay-per-view. So I'll just go through this thing here real fast. And then we're gonna go into it a little bit more with each individual matchup. So August 1st, it will be Stephen Fulton Jr. against Angelo Leo. They're both of those fighters are undefeated, and that will be the feature bout for August 1st. Then on August 15th, you're going to have the WBC Super Middleweight Champion David Benavidez going up against Romer Alexis Angulo. And then on September 19th, over in the 154-pound division, you got Eric Lubin going up against Terrell Gausha. Like that is there for September 19th. Then on September 26th, it will be a doubleheader that's on pay-per-view, and it will feature the Charlo brothers. Okay, and what will happen is Jamal Charlo, older brother, is going to defend the WBC Middleweight Championship against Sergey Derevyanchenko, and have his brother, Jamel Charlo. There, he's going to defend his WBC Super Welterweight Championship, and he's going up against Jason Rosario, who has the the IBF and WBA championships at 154 pounds. So that is going to be a unification bout there. So Jamel Charlo against Jason Rosario is also on the same card as Jamal Charlo versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. You got Sergey Lipinets going up against Kudrytil Abdulkadirov, and that is for October 10th. That's going to be on Showtime. And then on October 24th, on pay-per-view, you will have Gervonta Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz there. So they have some little weird announcement in reference to that particular fight. So that's one of those pay-per-view bouts that we were expecting Like I was basically expecting that ever since December before Tank Davis for Yuriorkis Gamboa. Okay. Now, you also have on November 28th, Chris Colbert versus Jaime Arboleda. And then on December 12th, you're going to have Nordine Ubali versus Nonito Donaire. So that is the card that we have so far that's going to be on Showtime. So I am going to add in from the rumor report and from MBO, the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, Mr. Matthew Brown. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Very barely.
I don't know what's wrong with these damn things, man. All
Yeah.
right, let me get these headphones right. Because when I put my headphones in, it was telling me the mic is not working. But then when I take the headphones out, I could barely even see the little green signal moving.
And yeah, man, it is. Yeah, I'm barely even hearing you.
Can you
Through
hear me?
what your audio thing is. So
Can you hear me right now?
yeah, I can hear you, but it's very low.
Why, why is boxing not cooperating with me, man? You got the
I don't know,
sound
man.
out. Oh my God. I can't even find my other headset. I think it's the headset, man. This is what I get
Yeah,
for buying cheap shit from the dollar store.
yeah. It looks like it's mad tripping right now, man. I know I can't switch to the headphones that I have because if I did it with the ones that have that earpiece, then I know my audio would be out.
Yeah, I gotta see if I can find my headset. And I'm gonna try to get back in.
Yeah, let's see if we could try that. See, how good that would be. Um,
All right.
because
let's see here if this could basically work. But so yeah, I had ran through the series of fights that have been announced through Showtime Boxing. And pretty much these fights here are going to be held at the Mohegan Sun Casino over in Uncasville. Um, so you had like a lot of the fights that I did announce. They're going to be there in Uncasville, Connecticut. Um, Now, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, man, I don't. That's like going to oh, what is it? Uh, that casino over in New York. That's pretty much how this thing kind of like feels to me. Is having these fights being out there. So, um, like I said, the majority of the fights that I did announce would be taking place over in Uncasville, Connecticut. So they were able to, work these things out to have these fights there in that particular location. So see here if Matt is going to try to get audio piece back in so that we could go through these particular fights one by one because they have they have a little bit of intrigue on each one of them. You know, so it's something that we're kind of like trying to see how each of these will turn out. So I wanted to go into the first bout there with Stephen Fulton, or Cool Boy. So Cool Boy there he is, like I said, going to be going up against Angelo Leo there on August 1st. So, if he's able to have that, that fight locked down, they're making that, or they're trying to have that to be the fight for the WBO title at 122 pounds, which is vacated by Emmanuel Navarrete, who is moving up to 126 pounds. So you're gonna have Angelo Leo, who was there around that top two in the WBO rankings. You have Stephen Fulton, who is a contender there for world title, but they having this thing be positioned out so that he could compete and be you know um, inserted in as a world title contender. So to have Stephen Fulton there, who is at 18-0, going up against Angelo Leo there at 19-0 on August 1st. That will be that first card over in Uncasville. So that is the one bout that people are looking into as far as like that one kind of being up in the air as to who would take that particular bout. I know a few people that know Cool Boy. He's there in the Philadelphia area, so um, they give a lot of background as far as like Cool Boy stuff. YSM Sports Media uh, is based in Philadelphia. Does have a good number of videos there on Cool Boy, so you'll be able to check him out as far as like his training and other things there. But you'll catch a few of his fights and you'll see the abilities that he has there to see how he'll do against Angelo Leo, who, like I said, is also undefeated and is ranked number 2 in the WBO rankings there. So you do have that on August 1st. And 2 weeks later, you have David Benavidez. They're going up against Romer Alexis Angulo. David Benavidez is there as a WBC super middleweight champion. They kind of like have them floating around as being the top rated guy in the super middleweight division. He's had a couple of defenses of the WBC title. Did have it stripped at one point, due to testing positive for drug use, but was able to come back in the scene and defeat J. Leon Love and Anthony Durrell last year. And that is what had him get that WBC super middleweight title back. And he'll be going up against Romer Alexis Angulo, and that one will be a fairly interesting bout. Romer Alexis Angulo's there at 26-1 with 22 KOs. Did have his win over Anthony Sims earlier this year. It was a fairly close bout there against Anthony Sims. So him against David Benavidez, that's going to be very intriguing bout there for that particular date of August 15th. Now, September, like I said, September 19th and September 26th, you're going to have 2 fights that are in the 154-pound division with guys that are, there around that top 10 to top 2 maybe with the second fight. There you had Erickson Lubin, former world title contender. There, did face Jamel Charlo and did lose to Jamel Charlo. Pretty much got caught with a right hand there in close quarters. That is the only loss that he's had in his professional career. He'll be, going up there against Terrell Gausha. Terrell Gausha is, um, one, fighter there that is, I would say a fairly tough person to, kind of figure out. He did have that split draw with, um, you know, uh, Austin Trout, who we've had on the show multiple times. So we've had on the show a couple of weeks ago. You know, um, and with that, Garcia is, kind of like, floating up and down there in reference to the contention in the super welterweight division. He did have that loss to Erislandy Lara over in the Barclays Center. Part of that triple header that was at the Barclays Center in October of 2017. I know a few people are probably reminded of that particular fight because of what basically happened before that fight, because that fight was actually the main event on that card. That was a super welterweight triple header there. So you had that fight, and like I said, he did fight Austin Trout over in Biloxi to a split draw, and so now he's in there against Eric Lubin on September 19th. There, like I said, Eric Lubin is back there in contention for a world title, and Terrell Gausha is also floating around there in the world rankings at 154 pounds. So this will kind of like see like who will be next in line to fight for a world title, particularly with Erickson Lubin. We'll see how that will work. Now we're going to try this thing here once again. Matt Brown, what's good?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, finally. I had to switch to my phone. I guess something's wrong with my iPad.
Oh man, I thought you were about to say that you got two phones.
Nah. Yo, so have you been discussing the Showtime schedule, the fire that just dropped on the boxing world?
Well, I did, quickly go through the 9 fights that were shown for the Showtime schedule. Just going through the fights one by one. Just went through like the first 3 one by one. So, anything in reference to those first 3 fights: Fulton Leo, Benavidez Angulo, and Lubin Gausha.
Well, the interesting one to me is the card with Erickson Lubin and Terrell Gausha, because I don't know if you saw the actual fight undercards for these matchups, but on the undercard of Lubin versus Gausha
Mm-hmm.
is a non-PBC fighter, and that man is Jerron Boots Ennis.
Uh-huh.
So I'm kind of wondering if we might be reaching the end of his protracted promoter court battle, and maybe we might see him cross over to the dark side, so to speak.
Well, I think we were kind of like talking about something like this happening with Boots, because there was like a little bit of rumblings about him being over on Showtime. Um, but then they had like some little thing go down about Boots Ennis, and they were like, what are y'all talking about? And then
Yep.
after that, they kind of shut themselves off from media at that particular point. So with this, it's like, yeah, he is now shown as part of that fight card on September 19th. Um, I also see something else that's fairly interesting there. on that particular card, as it seems like right now, as of now, this is a co-feature bout. Former world title contender Tuksut Yambayar is going up against Eduardo Ramirez. So it's kind of funny how Yambayar is able to get another fight. It'll be, well, right now the announcement is 5 months from his last fight against Mr. Gary Russell, and it'll be pretty much 7 months between those fights.
Yeah, but not only is he getting another fight, I don't know if you know this, but that fight is actually a WBC final eliminator. So he gets a title shot right after if he wins again.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to make a phone call because I really feel that my boy is going to be fighting somewhere else this year. Because if this is a final eliminator, they're not gonna have him. They're not gonna have Neon Bayer if he wins fight Gary Russell again. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that this is, for reals, that Gary Russell Jr. is going to move up. He's going to move up to lightweight. So that's my thing on that one.
How is he gonna do it lightweight?
I would for me personally, I would have to see, how he, looks, because his dad has said that, hey, like he could, get up there to around 138 or 137 and just shed 3 pounds and still have the speed and then have the power with it. But I would have to, make a visit to the gym one time and see how he does his thing.
Yeah, but ain't he like 5'4", something like that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nah, I don't think it's a good idea for him.
Like, well, I mean, he was, going up against Jan Bayer, who was 5'7", you know. Um, and Gary is like, yeah, he is 5'4", so, but like I said, he has the heart of 20 lions, so
He does.
he don't care if it's lightweight, super, or super welterweight. He don't care as long as he can make
That's
weight.
true. He
Like he
definitely has
ready to
the
fight.
he has the heart of whatever he killed to make that outfit that he wore on the Deontay Wilder undercard.
I think that was a tiger or something.
I don't know what that was.
That's my
Shout out to
man,
him
though.
though.
That's my man, though. But yeah, you got Tucson Young Buyer on that fight card there, and yeah, like you said, Bucinas is also part of that card on September 19th. There, so um, after that, you have that doubleheader with the Migos. I mean, the Charlo brothers. Damn it!
Oh, come on. Don't do it. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. You have the fight card of the year on September 26th.
Yeah, it's good. That's just, I mean, man, folks better not sleep on this one, man. Like, you
It's
can't
the best
sleep
fight card of the
on
year,
this one.
JR. Can you
I
please at
think,
least admit that?
like people gotta, this one here, man. Like, yeah, like I like this thing, man. It's a double header, but like the thing is, man. All right, let's run it, man. They say they have this thing like set right now, so we could actually go through this card. Wait a minute. Oh, come on, man. Now I'm looking at the card right now, man. I was
Did you
like,
just see
oh,
the Emmanuel Rodriguez news?
well, yeah, but I see another fight on there and I'm like, oh, come on. This guy's going to be in it.
Who we talking
Oh,
about?
the cowboy.
Cowboy call, baby. Woo! Yeah.
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 Yeah, like oh man, like this is insane. Oh,
It's gonna be an excellent card, man.
yeah, this is a guy. Like he stopped. Oh yeah, he was part of that card in the National Harbor, man. He got knocked down. He
Yeah,
like
man.
yeah, he got knocked down in that first round. I was like, oh come on. Oh, he's going up against Mario Barrios, man, for the WBA super lightweight title. Like, oh man. Whew,
That's gonna be a
but
good one, man.
yeah, it should be a good one while it lasts. But yo, you got Diego Magdaleno on this card. You got Brandon Figueroa against Damian Vasquez
Yeah,
for
the heartbreaker. Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah. So he have that. Um, so those four fights, there, and like I said, Jamel versus Rosario. That's to me, that's the fight, man. Man, I'm telling you, that's the fight. Like I'm telling, I said that I like Jamal much more than I like Jamel as far as like overall skills are concerned. So like,
So you think Rosario could beat him?
I think he can, yeah.
Well, if you legitimately think Rosario could beat him, you should put your money where your mouth is because the betting odds are looking like Charlo is going to be at least a 4-1 favorite.
Ooh, 4-1. Ooh. Man, I might hit those bucks.
Yeah.
Yo, let me talk to World Rank and see what he's talking about. He could probably
Yeah.
say if I should
Charlo's
get in.
minus 400.
Ooh,
Rosario is plus 275.
ooh, ooh. Yeah, that's very interesting there. And if I'm not mistaken, is it like the last time, both of the
We're not, no,
Charlos
no,
been
we're not
on
here
the
to talk about
same
the past.
card?
We're not here to talk about the past. Come on. Come on. Come on,
Woo!
man.
Oh man, hey man. I'm saying though,
We
like that
saw
one.
we saw Jamel get robbed against Cody Harris. Come on, man.
Oh boy. Ooh. And yeah, like that one is one that looking forward to. Like Charlo Drevianchenko. I'm like I have too much. I have too much into Jamal Charlo to say that fight will be you know anything where Drevianchenko is going to get something. But I mean, Drevianchenko been getting himself some fights, man. Like, come on, like you got,
Keith
hey,
Connolly.
yeah, man. Like you get the thing there with Golovkin, Daniel Jacobs, and now Jamal Charlo in a span of
Yeah.
under 2 years, man. Hey, yo, it is just what 16 fights. Ah,
Yeah.
dog. Like he
Isn't it interesting how people always feel like Americans gotta work their way up the rankings to get all these title shots and fight each other, pick each other off. But you got one of these Europeans that come over and they get a hot shot into a title shot and nobody can complains or cares.
yeah. Yeah, it's like they get, fast tracked into it, like, no problem. Like, from the Ukraine, everybody from the Ukraine getting in there. And it's like, oh, come on, man. It's
Now let me ask you a
just
question about this card. Do you have any issue with this being pay-per-view?
actually, I don't because of the level. Well, because of the four fights that the top four fights, I would say, I think this
Yeah.
is. Yeah, this is enough for a pay per view. I think just because of those two fights with the Charlo brothers are like at this particular point, that's about as good as they could get for those two fighters right now. It's
Well,
again.
apparently, Showtime's doing something special with this. This is gonna be like a day-night doubleheader, where one Charlo is gonna fight with three other fights on a card in the afternoon, and
Mm,
then the second Charlo brother is gonna have his own separate card, but the same pay-per-view later in the evening.
hmm. Yeah, that's gonna be new. That's gonna be like unprecedented right there. To
Yeah,
have
that's
that. So
that's
I
a
think
bit
so they're probably gonna split
innovation.
up those other fights like the Roman Rodriguez
Yeah.
fight. Actually, that's a sleeper fight too. Roman Rodriguez will be like the co-feature for one, and then Barrios versus Carl will be the
Well,
co-feature for
Rodriguez
the
is
other
off
one.
the card.
Oh, damn. Oh man.
Yeah, but Rodriguez is off the card already.
Damn.
Apparently, again, Rodriguez pulled out at the last minute, so they're gonna look for a suitable replacement for Danny Roman. I don't know what's up with Rodriguez, man. He pulled out of the Neri fight. You know, he's pulling out of this fight. Does Emmanuel Rodriguez want to fight?
I don't know, man. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah,
Doesn't
we
doesn't
won't
look like
listen.
it, man. Nah. Oh, great. Oh, and there's like some other news that I was gonna get to though. So that's September 26th. Then you have on October 10th, Sergey Lipinets versus Kudratil Abdulkakarov.
Ooh, I love that fight.
That's gonna be a barn burner. That's gonna be like somebody's gonna get like somebody's gonna get hurt.
Now, very
Somebody is gonna
interesting
get hurt.
that Kudratio is being allowed to fight on Showtime. I was under the impression that he was with Top Rank.
Mm. Yeah, that is interesting there, but I don't know. I gotta see like who his manager is. Um, because his manager probably got that thing going. But yeah, that's I think that's about as good as a fight they could get there. Um, shoot, I gotta find see if I can get an interview with Malik Hawkins. There to see if that could work. Um, because he'll be a part of that
Yep, he
card.
got himself an interesting fight also.
Yeah, against Subriel Matias. And Claudio Marrero is going up against Xavier Martinez there in the super featherweight division. So that's going to be that fight card
A
on
lot of interesting
October 10th.
fights.
Yeah, but that's September 26th card though, man. That's like the type of cards that you used to have with like Floyd Mayweather as the main event, the pay per view, and when they used to like stack those pay per views up. It's
Yeah,
almost like that. Not quite like the
it's like they're
level of
bringing the '90s back.
not quite like the level of the Canelo, the Floyd Canelo one. Cause that one had, Danny Garcia there, you know, as a co-feature. So I was like, nah, it's not, quite at that level, but still, kind of good there. And then October 24th on pay-per-view, you finally have the fight that they've been talking about ever since December of 2019. Like, my goodness.
Historic fight.
They say it's historic in a way, but only for I think for that particular weight class, because you know that Floyd Mayweather has been able to defend titles in two different weight classes at the same time. But now this is kind of like a semi-unification bout. You had to have the WBA lightweight and WBA super featherweight titles on the line. With Gervonta Tank Davis there
Historic
against Leo
matchup.
Santa Cruz. And sorry, Charles, but yes, you're gonna have a pay-per-view. It's gonna be pay-per-view without any fans up to this particular point. We don't know what in the world Connecticut's going to do, but it's still a unification bout of sorts there. And I've just like been talking to a couple people, and they don't have faith in Tank Davis, man. Since I don't know, man. If you're gonna have both those titles on the line, then what's the catch weight? 132.
No, it's gonna be at 130.
Mm.
It's gonna be at 130. And if Leo Santa Cruz defeats Tank Davis, he will hold a belt in 3 different weight classes at the same damn time. That is historic. You got Henry Armstrong, you got Canelo, and then you would have Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah, yeah, but he's gonna get. I just don't see him winning. I really don't.
Why not?
I don't think. Even at 130, I don't think that he'll be able to. He would have to stick and move for 12 rounds. Because if he gets caught once with a good shot, like he'll I think he'll go down, man. He'll go down.
Yeah,
The
but
only
Leo
thing is,
Santa Cruz
the only thing with
is an excellent
Tank,
boxer and an excellent volume puncher.
yeah, that's the thing, is volume, but he have to move too, because if he moves a lot and gets Tank to reset, then yeah, he'll have a shot. But outside of that, if for me, Tank, even though I don't really see him like doing this very well at all, and that's cut off the ring. If he could cut off the ring, then he should be able to get Santa Cruz. And for me, like Santa Cruz losing to Carl Frampton because he allowed Carl Frampton to get to the inside and work him there in that first fight. So once you like kind of like get close to Leo Santa Cruz, that punch output really isn't that effective because he usually does a lot of things um, in a lot of space, but up close, not that much. Um, so yeah, so that one I kind of think is tanks for the taking right there. You know. Next
I
up,
think you're seriously underestimating Leo Santa Cruz.
well, I'm just thinking that Leo Santa Cruz should have at least had a third fight with Carl Frampton, or like I said, fight Gary Russell Jr., but he didn't want that smoke. All right, now you have on November 28th, prime time, prime time, Chris Colbert going up against Jaime Arboleda there for some super featherweight title that they got in the WBA. And then you'll also have Richardson Hitchens against Argenis Mendez there, who's
That's another interesting fight.
Mendez has been his record in the past 6 fights is 2-2-2. So I'd like to see there,
Hey,
what Richardson
it's
does
like
at
they
this
said, you
particular
win some,
point.
you lose some.
You
You win
win
some, you lose
some,
some.
you lose some, and you get a draw in some. And so that's what happens with Argenis Mendez. You know, so yeah, Richardson Hitchens there's in that co-feature bout there that is November 28th. So oh yeah, that's what they have there for that particular fight card so far. And then December 12th, you're gonna have Nordine Ubali going up against Nonito Donaire.
Another interesting
Nonito.
fight.
Yep. You're gonna see, if Daenerys could, pretty much pull another one out of the hat. Uh, you know, he's a veteran there, so Bradley's gonna have to, work, work a little bit there for him to keep that title. Um, so that's what they have here on slate on Showtime Boxing, starting August 1st and concluding on December 12th, right there. So that's the 9 fights that they got coming up, or 9 fight cards that they got coming up there. Anything there that you see that was that could have been missing from that schedule, or any fighters that could have been on?
Well, not that they are a PBC fighter, but I found it very interesting that Clarissa Shields seemed very upset with the announcement of the Showtime boxing schedule rollout. Now, does this mean that she's not going to be fighting on Showtime and her fight fell through? Or does this mean that she's just upset that her fight wasn't broadcast with this big rollout?
Um, I think that it's not that it wasn't in this rollout. Um, I may need to talk to our boy, to see what the update is on that, because there was like something else that was like mentioned from a guy that you don't like, um that says that you know women's boxing is starting to have more kind of like intriguing matchups, and that is because a lot of those fighters want those intriguing matchups. So, even though Clarissa Shields is slated to fight Marie Eve, I don't know if they were gonna have it on Showtime, but I would be interested to see if they would actually try to have it on as a main event on Fox, to see how that would go.
How? She's not a PBC fighter.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you know. So so if you only
I
have
mean,
her, you only
I
had
don't
it going on
remember.
Showtime, but other than that, what else, what else could she do? You know,
The Zone, maybe.
that could be possible, but it's like, what would the zone do as far as like, getting them that money? Well, that could be possible. Only for me, only if there was a way, and I know that there isn't. Only if there was a way that if they had Shields the care on there, and if this other person wins their match, then it would be Clarissa Shields there against Cecilia Breakers. But
Well, if I'm Clarissa Shields, I travel to Oklahoma and just beat the
yeah,
shit out of Cecilia Breakers for free.
yo, I just step in the ring in like round 5
Yeah,
and jump in there. Outside interference.
exactly.
Step in there like Kane stepped into Hell in a Cell against the Undertaker when he was facing Shawn Michaels. Something like that. I don't know, man, because that's about, as far as it may get here for a good little bit for Clarissa Shields. Um, of course, you mentioned that Clarissa Shields is not gonna fight you know who's fighter. So so there's that. And then Savannah Marshall is a good ways away. Um so it's like right now, that's about the fight that, you know, is left out there for Clarissa Shields at this particular point is Cecilia Breakus, you know. And like you know,
Yeah.
Demetrius Salita said, Shields can go down to 147. I know we don't want it, but he says that she can do it. So if it has to get to
I
that
just think
point,
that's dangerous.
then yeah, I do
I just
too.
think that's dangerous.
You know, I do too. But you know, if that's something that she wants to do, then I mean, it is what it is with that. You know, but we've been trying. Like I said, we've been trying multiple times to get her onto the podcast. So hopefully we could get her on at one particular point to have her speak her piece on what's going on with that. So yeah, that's the thing with Clarissa Shields, not being part of that Showtime card. Who knows what is out there for her? But I would have to, kind of chat with Demetrius Salita to see what the scoop is on that, and if that fight with Marie Decker is still on. You know, so
Yep.
so
But
that's
it's kind of interesting. PBC is gonna own the second half of 2020 because they released this excellent schedule, but we forgot they got another channel and a whole bunch of other fighters that they didn't announce fights for yet. And I think the Fox PBC rollout is going to be even bigger than the Showtime rollout.
mm, that was one of the things that I also wanted to talk about was what could be possibly on there for the Fox rollout. Well, I know that one thing that will be included in that is a pay-per-view, and that's the pay-per-view that would involve Errol Spence Jr. and him going up against Danny Garcia. Like, we pretty much know that that's going to be, the done deal is Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia. So other than that, we'd have to see like what else is you know that would be out there. I have like kind of guessed that Caleb Plant would be part of it. You know,
Yeah.
I think he'll be featured because against that Fegan Boots, that got a good amount of ratings
Yep.
for the Fegan Boots fight. So they're like, oh, so we can get
Yep.
this many people watching Caleb Plant. All right, cool. Let's do it again. So yeah, I think that will be.
There's an interesting matchup for Caleb Plant out there that not a lot of people are talking about.
The only one that I would
I'm
have
sorry, what you
saw
say?
is after the fight that he had against Fegan Boots, and that is the next highest rated contender. But there's another fighter that's out there, but I don't think they're gonna match those two guys up. It would be a really good. It would be a really good fight though if they
Who
tried
are
it,
you
but I don't
thinking?
think Jacobs. Like Plant versus Jacobs would be a very interesting fight.
That's the fight that I was thinking about.
Yeah,
That's the fight that I was thinking about.
because if it isn't going to be Truax, who's the highest ranked contender in the IBF, it would be Daniel Jacobs. Now, if
That's
they
the
came
fight
up
to
with
make
that
for
one,
Caleb Plant.
yeah, if they came up with that one and he had like a good amount of time, ooh, that would be some serious. Yeah, that would be a seriously talked about fight. Like, ooh, like Daniel Jacobs against Caleb Plant. Like, that would be out of nowhere, and it would be kind of like something to kind of somebody stick it to Callum Smith because I really don't think they'll have an additional $1 million for him. If they have an
Yeah,
additional $1 million for him, then hey, good for Callum Smith. But
but why don't they have an additional $1 million for him?
because they don't want to pay him an additional $1 million. It's there. They just don't want to pay him.
Come on,
I'm
man.
sorry.
Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has his own budget with DAZN. Why can't Eddie Hearn take $1 million from his budget to match with Golden Boy's $5 million from their budget and make the fucking fight?
You think he really likes Callum Smith like that? I was kidding. watch
Yeah.
Canelo fight somebody like a John Ryder, man. Uh oh boy. Oh man. Cause yeah, I really don't see like anything else that's out there, for Callum Smith other than that Canelo fight. They're not gonna have, either Callum or Canelo fight like a David Lemieux. You're not gonna have him go up against Jacobs. You're not gonna have, Canelo against a John Ryder like John Ryder's talking about. Or who is it? Anthony Durrell. Like, come on, man. They might as well pull out Alfredo Angulo for like a Callum Smith or something. Like, come on. I just don't see it, man.
Hey, I like that fight.
What, Smith versus Angulo?
Well, we also know Fox is going to have Wilder versus Fury 3. We know
Right.
that.
Right.
We figure by process of elimination, Manny Pacquiao is going to be back on Fox.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a Fox pay-per-view as well.
Your boy Jared Hurd.
Mr. Get That Bag, yeah.
That's my guy right there, man. And then, of course, you got J-Rock.
He said he'll have an interim fight.
Konaki.
Andy Ruiz is going up against Chris Arreola.
Yeah.
Adam Kaunaki is either going to have the rematch there, against Robert Helenius, or they may have him against Charles Martin.
Again?
Adam Kaunaki? Again? Well, yeah. Yep, they could. Oh, who else? What is going to happen with Efe Ajagba? That is my question. Him and Michael Hunter.
I think Michael Hunter is going to end up at Top Rank.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, it's almost like he was dropping hints like he was going to be on Top Rank. So, like, he goes to Top Rank, and, Ajagba, I thought Ajagba was going to end up in Top Rank too. But, who knows with that one, man.
He probably will.
Yeah, he probably will end up there as well. So you have that. Who else is out there that's kind of like up in the air? Freaking
Don't forget about Keith Thurman.
Oh yeah, don't duck me, done. What is Mr. Don't Duck? What is Mr. Get Back Here going to do? Who do they have like Ugas end up fighting? Like who is Ugas gonna fight?
Ugas is gonna fight Abel Ramos.
Abel Ramos.
For the WBA regular title.
Regular title. Yeah. So you got that. Is Sean Porter gonna fight Ivan Redcatch?
Hey, I watch it. I'll
Hey,
watch it.
well, but here's my thing. Um, I'm hoping that this is going to be the case, but on Sunday, Jamel Herring was like kind of, going into, a few things that were happening with Top Rank in the future. And he said that there is going to be a fairly big event in November there. And of course, for me, that involves Bud. So if it's going to be big and it involves Bud, there's only has to be one or two guys that he's going up against for that. So I think one of those two guys that have been former world champions will be the opponent for Bud in November.
We'll see. I
It
think
will.
it's going to be Chris Van Eerden.
Chris Van Eerden. No, I thought it was gonna be Ray Robinson, man. I thought it was gonna be Ray Robinson. I mean, not no Chris Van Eerden. Come on. So, I mean, yeah,
Yep.
I think it's gonna be like a Ray Robinson or something like that. But um, I find it interesting that in the WBO rankings, they have there at number 5 Regis Prograis. But number 4 is Maurice Hooker. So I'm like, wait, what? How do you put Maurice Hooker there at number 4 and then Regis Prograis there at number 5? But yeah,
If you
yeah,
look at the WBO rankings, Progress is rated at 140 and 147. So maybe
yeah,
they're giving him a choice of what he wants to do.
yeah. But I mean, it's still like a good. Well, he's ranked. Yeah, he's ranked at in the IBF at 140 there, as well. So that's yeah, he does have things up in the air because, like you said, the fight between him and Hooker fell through. So he's kind of like looking to see what spot he's going to end up
Yeah.
in because Ramirez is still trying to fight Victor Postol, and Josh Taylor is supposed to be fighting that Apinan Sakarian guy. So yeah, you have Regis Prograis there just holding the bag right now. So this
Maybe Crawford's going to fight Custio Clayton.
Nah, I don't think so. We may get a little bit of a hint as to who he may fight on this coming Sunday, because we'll have Mr. Bo Mack on for that podcast. So maybe Mr. Bomack can shed some insight as to
Really?
what happened with Bud.
Uh, I guess my hiatus from the boxing source will last another week.
Oh man, maybe I shouldn't have disclosed that information. Yeah, I would have
Hey,
just
listen,
had
man.
you.
I don't want to embarrass the show. Okay, so I am putting myself on the bench for this Sunday's podcast.
Hey, come on, man. It means somebody's gonna have to put him on the spot. Because I would go to the archives and play a couple of clips and see what his reaction would be to that. And see what he says. Be like,
Listen, man, he might hang up.
yeah, he might, he might be like, we had this little back and forth conversation a few a few months ago when they had one of your guys on, Steve Nelson, and some guy came on there. Oh man,
I
yeah. So that would
remember.
be. So that'll be a very interesting show to say the least. But that is what's on state for the boxing source there. Anything on the rumor report side that's coming up?
Nah, not really.
Okay. We'll still keep our ears to the ground to see what Mr. Matthew Brown will have out there for people to go to. We can't necessarily rely on a Coppinger or somebody like that
Oh
to
my
get us
God.
killed.
Please don't get me started on that fucking clown. Yo, this guy has been sucking Dana White's dick for the past 2 months, talking about
Oh my
every UFC
God.
pay-per-view. And then, as soon as he finds out that the Charlo doubleheader is a pay-per-view, he's fucking complaining about fights being on pay-per-view. My man,
Oh
you was
man.
just
You got
sucking dick about fucking
No, we gotta
the
screenshot
fucking
that.
journeyman from Miami, George Masvidal, versus the foot stomper from Africa, fucking Usman. You were just slurping
Yes,
that
he was.
pay-per-view.
I think we
And
had
this
speak
pay-per-view
hella
card
had one.
with the two Charlos is much better.
Much better, yo.
Man, fuck Mike Coppinger, man. Man, now you just pissed me off. We was ending on a good note.
No, we weren't.
And you come here with this shit.
No, we weren't, because we were talking about Bomac, man.
Yeah,
So it went from bad to worse.
Bomac, sorry ass. Bomac sold Crawford out to get some fucking announcing gigs, but we won't talk about that.
Oh shit. Nah, we won't. We'll end on
Fuck
that, yo.
Bomac.
That's the midweek report with Matthew Brown. I'm J.R. Bell, man.
Fucking
We signing
Bomac,
out.
man.
Peace,
I'm
y'all.
done, Jr. I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm out this bitch, man.
All right, we out.